Okay, excellent. My name is Sri from Unique Solutions of Advanced Technologies. We are an IT company. We help small businesses apply the technology in growing their business and managing their business. And I have Kelly. And Kelly, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Terrific. Thanks, Sri. My name is Kelly Scheer, and I am an executive coach and CEO peer facilitator. I work with CEOs just like Sri to get their best of the best and share their ideas and problem solving with other CEOs around Southeast Michigan.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Kelly. I've known you for a while, and I've learned quite a lot from you and from your efforts. Appreciate it. So the objective of the call today is, as I mentioned to you before, sending a positive message into the market in these challenging times. So as a business coach or a business executive or of your own, have a business, right? So what is the lesson learned from various business leaders on how they handled the pandemic?
Wow, that's a great question. And let me just say, I have been so heartened and impressed with the resiliency of the CEOs that I have the privilege and the pleasure to working with every day. These folks are gritty. They're gritty. They get down, they bootstrap this kind of thing. And here's what I'll tell you. Successful CEOs do a handful of things very well. One of the things that they do is show their own vulnerability and humility by asking for help when they need it. And I think for me, that is a quintessential test of a phenomenal and a resilient CEO. When he or she knows, you know what, I'm in over my head and I need some help here. And so I think that probably is the one thing that impressed me more than anything else over the pandemic was the CEOs I knew. And frankly, the CEOs that are coming out of this pandemic better than before are those who asked for help. They gathered a strong network and they were just resilient. Here's the other thing though, with that asking for help is also grace, which is these CEOs gave themselves and each other some grace.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, grace on a bill, grace on getting back to me on the phone, grace with, my kids running back and forth in the Zoom screen, right? Grace for an extra minute or two. All of those things, I think both resilience and grace were the things that were just incredible examples of strength throughout this pandemic.
I see. So as a business coach, and as after you interacting with many CEOs and you made the observation, and thank you very much. That is quite an encouraging for business CEOs that are, however small they are, however large they are. Thank you very much. Now, for especially as my focus is on the small businesses, mid-sized businesses, right? So, and you're also quite involved in small, mid-sized businesses in general. So, what is it something that you would suggest to a small business CEO or a small business owner, for that matter, to as we are coming out of the pandemic? I'm hoping that we are coming out of the pandemic and we are not going back into the down the hill. But as you are coming out, what do you suggest that need to be observed in the market or in the business in general? And what is it something they need to be cautious about or they need to look out for?
Sure. So a couple of things. I think that smart business owners, small and mid-sized specifically, I think the reason that they're resilient is because they're looking for partners. They're not looking for competition. And I think if we find a way where we can coordinate instead of compete, by the way, that doesn't mean competition isn't good. Competition is wonderful. But I think those leaders who come out of this pandemic with their head up and they're looking around, I think they should be looking for partners. I think they should be looking for people who are in similar circumstances. And I think they should be looking to coordinate as opposed to compete. Having said that, I think what small and mid-sized businesses can get out of their peers And you know where I'm going with this. I think a peer group is something that can change your life.
Right.
I think CEOs can, and by the way, a peer group is when CEOs like you and others in that business, same size businesses, get together and they talk about the issues and the opportunities that they have in front of them, and they break it all down and they talk about what they've done and mistakes they've made, or wonderful things that have happened to them. Being able to talk through that and even spitball some ideas back and forth with a group,
I see.
I think is the difference between, succeeding and maybe not succeeding. Having that group can be the difference between growth and stagnation.
Good, good. Thank you. So what you're suggesting is, in a sense, look out for your network and join into a peer group and exchange the ideas and be open to share the challenge and seek the help that you needed, is what you're suggesting for the small mid-sized business owners as they come out of this pandemic.
That's right. I think we're stronger together. And I know that we use that all the time and it sometimes becomes trite, but I think a group of mid-sized CEOs who are helping each other kind of knock down obstacles and create opportunities, there's energy in that group. And I think that's wonderful.
I see that. I've experienced it firsthand, as you know. When I seek the help, and the grace was showering on me, and I can't be thankful enough for that. Excellent, excellent. So the last but not least question, this may be a little bit of a personal or not necessarily the pandemic related, but you as a successful business coach and as a successful business leader, if you were to stand in front of a mirror, and if you see a 16-year-old of yourself in the mirror, what would you say to your 16-year-old yourself?
Oh, wow. I love that question. I think a couple things.
Sure.
One, of course, is never give up.
Okay.
There will be dark days. There may even be dark weeks and some dark months, maybe, but never give up. I think maybe three things. That's one. Two is the people you surround yourself with, trust them. Trust them, and lean on them, and they will lean on you, and they will be with you forever. And so they're good. Invest in them, and they will invest in you.
Sure.
I'm a firm believer that family is who you make, not necessarily. It's who you're born into and who you make, right? So I have a large family. I'm very blessed of friends and family. I think the third thing is remember to breathe. I think that, and I think that's just for me saying, slow down just a little bit and take it in, because it's going to be over before you know it. I think if my 16-year-old self would know that everything's going to be okay, and that at this stage of my life, I would have an almost 16-year-old. I have a 13-year-old, and he is the moon and the stars, and your life is going to be blessed. Beautiful, but you have to breathe and take it in. That's what I would say.
I see. No, thank you very much. That's a very, very valuable contribution that you are giving to the young entrepreneurs that are coming up. I mean, the reason I've asked you that question is not just simply because we wanted to only send a positive message to the existing CEOs, but there are so many young entrepreneurs coming out in the market these days. A business leader like you, with a great deal of wisdom, a small tint of advice to those small and young entrepreneurs will help them to lead into the positive direction in the future. Thank you very much for sharing that ideas with the community here.